Hi there, I'm Judy. I'm here with a short video to give you a simple but profound tip to help you have a healthy relationship. And just so you know, I'm going to look down for my notes because I do want to keep this short and I don't want to start rambling because I could talk about any of these topics I talk about forever, a long time anyway. So the topic I want to talk about today is the bottom foundation of your relationship. It is the thing that everything else is founded on. So it's a foundational principle, self-love. So self-love, and I'm going to say something cliche that you've heard many times before. You can't love your partner unless you love yourself first. So I know you know that. But that's said so often. Do you really know what that means? Most people don't actually really know. When something is said as often as this cliche is said, it tends to start losing meaning. They become just words and yeah, and we tend to like drown it out. So I really wanted to talk about this, about what it really means. I want to actually put some more meaning behind those words because it actually is very important. So self-love, first and foremost, is about knowing who you are in your core, in your soul. Now, we're all on a journey of becoming who we are, or we might. So it's not necessarily you're this one thing and you never change. That's a whole nother topic. But it is who you are now. Part of that knowing may be who you are becoming. Maybe that part of that knowing is that you're not wanting to become somebody else. That's the knowing. Wherever you are, you know, and that's in your core. So you need to, that's first and foremost. Who you are in your core is your values, your belief systems, what drives you to do what you do, what motivates you, what's your desires, what's your passions, what's your motivations, what are your dreams, your goals, what's your heart song, what makes you sing, and also what are your shadows. Yes, you have to know what your shadows are. Too many of us don't want to look at that side. The shadows are the things that we don't want to accept about ourselves, the things we don't normally like about ourselves. So here's a concept for you. Accept those things anyway. And this is part of the reason why so many people do not have self-love. It is because of these shadows that they don't like to talk about and don't want to admit. And if you're going to say that you don't have any or you're not worried about it, and then you're probably fooling yourself. But that's another issue completely. And there's so many different aspects about accepting those shadows. So those are many different videos to talk about. So again, this is just like to get you started and to get you thinking. Just to take you down the step. It's educational first and foremost. But once you know those things about yourself, then you have to go through the process of accepting those things about yourself. Really loving yourself in spite of those things that you think are imperfections. Because here's the thing, we're all imperfect. There is no such thing as perfection. Perfectionism is an illusion. So I'm a recovering perfectionist myself. Trust me. That's something I can talk about pretty extensively on. So just recognize it's okay you're human, and that's okay. And humans are flawed. And so I'm going to move on now. So the other thing that I see a lot of people getting confused over is that self-love does not mean loving yourself more than others. That's narcissism. When you love yourself more than others, because then you're wanting to put yourself first above others at a dysfunctional level. I don't mean like I need to get my own needs met before putting on my own oxygen mask before I put on my kids. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about not even wanting to put on the oxygen. Screw all the oxygen masks for all those other people. I only concerned about my own. That's narcissism. That's loving yourself above others. And I'm not talking about that, because self-love is loving yourself equally to those other people. It's actually, this is one of the most common mistakes I see in relationships, is really not narcissism. That's actually a very small percentage of people. It's actually the other extreme that I see more often, and it is a really, really common mistake, is to actually undermine your own needs. More often than not, what I see is people putting their partner's needs above their own, their kids' needs above their own, their parents, their pets, and actually even undermining the necessity of their own needs. Oh, you know, in the scheme of things, it didn't mean that much to me. Oh, it was no big deal. Well, the thing is, it is a big deal. Sometimes we're not even recognizing their reactions, because sometimes when people say that, I actually see that how they got upset about it first, and then they discounted their own feelings and said, oh, it's not all that important. If you get upset, even for a quick moment, then it is important. That means that there's a need within you that is not getting met, and you should meet that need. Because here's the thing, it's not a win-lose. It's not like if I meet somebody else's needs, then I can't get my own needs met. You can meet their needs and yours at the same time. That is self-love. I mean, you have to be emotionally in a good place first in order to meet other people's needs. And that's why the self-love for yourself needs to come first. That's why you have to put your own mask on first, because you're going to be clear-headed. You're going to be up here. And when you're clear-headed and you're emotionally whole, you're present with what the other person needs. You can then more easily figure out, do they have a problem that needs to be solved? Do I need to be in problem-solving mode? Do I need to be in listening mode? Do I need to be just in comfort mode? You know, what is it that my partner needs from me right now? Maybe they don't need anything. Maybe you're an ego and you think they need something when they don't really need something. I mean, because all those things. But the thing is, like, if you're getting your own needs met because you love yourself equally as everybody else, then you're going to more easily recognize that. And this is as I said, this is an umbrella topic, and there's so many other facets of this that fall underneath this self-love concept, and accepting your shadow side. That's huge, because it goes into forgiveness and the wounded inner child, and the codependency versus narcissism. That's the extremes of the self-love. So there's so many aspects of this. So and I can't go through all of that right here. I just want to get you started. This is just a place to start on your journey, and it's not in any place. It's a starting place, so you can continue after this. But I will leave you with this one question. Can you look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. I love you, Judy. And mean it. Now, of course, you wouldn't use the word Judy. I'm just being hypothetical. I'm giving the example because I'm Judy. You would say your own name, or you just say you, because you're looking at yourself in the mirror. If you can do the mirror exercise and mean it, then you're in the right place. If you can't, then you know you need work to do on this topic. So there's so many different ways to do that. There's so many different helpers and books and videos, and hopefully you'll want to tune into more of my videos. If not, that's okay too. But if what I've said today resonates with you, hit the like button, subscribe. If it doesn't make sense to you, doesn't pass the logic test first and foremost, then don't do any of that. And I'm going to honor you where you're at right now anyway. So namaste, and I hope you have a great evening.